Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Story number 1. Not a bang, but a whimper, archived document, written by Rose. It wasn't a bang, neither a war, plague, nor famine. No, we went, but with a whimper. We saw all that we had created, and for a while, it was good. The raging bonfire that was humanity came to be known far and wide. We loved, we hated, we raged, we wept. We made even those ancient immortals, the eternal watchers from the first stars, sit up and pay attention to us. Legends spawned of those among us who their faith could move mountains. Faith, being what it was, could not, on its own, move mountains. Faith combined with stubbornness, will, and time, however, could allow us to do anything we wanted. Time, however, seemed to be the limit. We stood on the shoulders of giants, the legions of dead that came before us and reached even higher. But always the horsemen would come around to tell humans that, no, it's not your time. You must stop reaching. You must give those who came after you your shoulders to stand upon. Are you not tired? Do you not need to rest? For we did grow tired, and we did need to rest. But while those individuals died, we did not accept our fate. The raging bonfire grew to an inferno. Man had conquered 3 of the horsemen, but lost can only be staved off. We knew that eventually reality would bow to its great scythe. Oh, but we raged. We did not want to go gently into that good night. Eons we advanced and retreated across the cosmos. Vast were our martyrs, plentiful were our gains. We burned our names across the skies in great swaths of hellish fire. The eternal watchers hid for fear that we would burn them to ash without notice. And for a time, it was good. As time progressed in its ceaseless march forward, our advances grew smaller, yet our retreats stayed the same. We fought with the same fervor, but our territory still shrank imperceptibly. Why do today what you can put off to tomorrow or next year? Nobody kept an accurate census of the whole of humanity. Individual organizations and nations tried, but companies merged and downsized while nations subsumed and split, as they always did. Nobody saw the story that was unfolding. We were nigh immortal, but not invulnerable. Perhaps one of our prehistoric poets put it best. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? We lived like we had forever, never considering that any day could be our last. Through simple mathematics, the end was visible. If anyone had bothered to look, humanity dwindled. And yet, even in the days when our light was flickering, we still burned bright enough to burn ourselves into the legends of the peoples that we met. We traveled from place to place, and planets became more and less fashionable. Nobody noticed that no humans lived on a certain planet anymore because nobody went there. They go back to visit. Someday. Maybe. As humans fell back to fewer and fewer planets, some races thought that we would be weak and safe to attack. They were proved wrong, and humanity would advance, only to retreat back to more fashionable and comfortable locations later. There would be population growth for a time, and then it would start to shrink back down. Children were always being born, but you could always put it off to a better time, when you were more ready, when you had more time, later. Eventually. The flickering flame was naught but a glowing ember. Humans still existed. Those who still traveled the cosmos still left wakes in their path. Pity the pirate that tried to attack a human ship. Powerful we may have been, godlike our powers may have seemed, but how many stories did we have of dead gods? And die humanity did. Some went in blazes of glory, massacring armadas and leaving ruin in their wake. But more died quietly from mechanical failures, ruined air filters, insufficient fuel, miscalculated flight vectors, cryopods in disrepair. And yet, Even in this time of darkness, nobody could believe that we were in decline. Things that to others were the most wondrous technology were to us mere baubles, things to be discarded when they no longer held our attention. Humans acted as harbingers of change for good and ill, be it the revolt sparked by economic depression due to losing an entire planetary military, both people and armaments, or the industrial revolution created by reverse engineering something a human threw away while visiting. A visiting human could always cause change, assuming that we kept coming, that is. The glowing ember cooled. I sit in my office alone amongst all my archives. I haven't seen another human since I can't remember when. I've decided to compile a history of humanity so that we may be remembered in ages to come. Looking at the records, I can see myself that which led to a slow decline of my people. I wait, I delay, I procrastinate. No more. When I wake up in the morn, I shall start the process of growing new humans. I will not go gently into this good night. Archivist note. Now the human was found dead outside his office the night this document was created. Cause of death was ruled to be head injury due to tripping over a rug. Archivist note. This document was pulled from the archive in the ruins of the former Altaluvian Empire. The Altaluvian Empire was conquered by the Squuria Republic after a rumor of a trove of human artifacts circulated. Archivist note, this document was pulled from the archive in the ruins of former Squuria Republic. The Squuria Republic was conquered by the Mulcra Co-op after a rumor of looted human artifacts circulated. Archivist note, this document was pulled from the archive in the ruins of the former Mulcra Co-op. The Mulcra Co-op was liberated from the Democratic Republic of the People's Soviet Capitalist Free Nation. Archivist note, this document was pulled from the hidden archive that somehow survived the brutal purging of information undertaken by the Democratic Republic of the People's Soviet Capitalist Free Nation to all information that did not fit the story given by the Democratic Republic of the People's Soviet Capitalist Free Nation. The Democratic Republic of the People's Soviet Capitalist Free Nation collapsed from starvation due to mismanagement of resources. Archivist note, this document was found in the error. End of file corrupted. Estimated loss of data, 90%. End of story. Story number 2. A Divine Burden, written by Scientific Theory. Divinity is a strange thing. It twists and curls throughout our universe, pressing its indelible arms into the very fabric of our souls. For in the beginning of creation, there was one. But when all is one, there is nothing left to change. So it gave itself of the universe. It gave so that there might be many. It gave so that the many might grow. And finally, outside ourselves might come true change. Every unity we have met has been unique in their distribution. My people, the core received most strongly the stamp of empathy, the true sight. For eons we have combed the universe, gazing into the souls of others. We see what others miss through ignorance or self-delusion, and we help them recognize and realize their gifts. Our vision cuts through the fog that we wrap around ourselves, through the masks and mistakes, and opens a path for true understanding. Though we can illuminate, we are no more gifted at understanding than those we gaze upon. To this end, we have long worked with the Satra, upon whom divine wisdom pressed more strongly than any other. Their words flow with crystalline purity, a clarity that remains somehow abstract and grounded. Together we see and they speak. A brief moment of their time to connect the pieces, to untangle the thread of life shaken and frayed and knotted. As self carry us through the deepness, an unassuming race, but one embedded with great strength. And iron wills hold their core, providing unbending resolve, a drive to overcome any obstacle and face down any defeat. They form the foundation of every group, of every initiative, carrying us forward when we no longer have the fortitude to carry ourselves. Beyond reliable. Their word is as solid as the earth from which we all arose. Enten are different. They have been gifted joy beyond reason, innocence without fragility. In all circumstances, no matter how dark or lost, they can tease out a single thread of hope and bind us through it. They drift through our lives as angels, and every moment, every place that they pause has been better for their touch. I sometimes wonder if they are a remnant of the true divinity. They simply laugh and drift on as a summer breeze, inscrutable but benevolent. They shine brighter than stars. Together we opened hearts and sharpened minds, intertwined in peace and harmony. No one part greater than any other, a whole greater than the sum of its parts, perhaps greater even than the one. But then we found them, the outlier. We landed to explore as we had so many before, assuming their shapes and faces, their languages. I gazed into them and saw them for what they were. They had no gift, no unified strength to uplift the species, no strength to support their struggles, to stay their fist. Each was different, but none of them approached even the least of our many species. It was horrifying in a way. So many of them, so empty inside. It was so innocuous, the event that ended our journey. 2 children laughing at a third, insulting it, gently pushing, but we could see the cruelty that lay behind their actions, the emptiness and the agony that drove them, the loss of a parent, and a parent that would have been better lost ate at them. But in the littlest one, in the victim, we saw it. There was no question. True divinity! We ran headlong through crowds of them, little sparks of it lighting up within each jostled soul, a glimmering wraith of fire trailing behind us. Panic tore at us, at the attention that we garnered, at the focusing of something so much greater than ourselves. We sprinted into the shuttle and ripped off that planet, barely even bothering to camouflage ourselves. As encrypted messages began to bounce across the world, we connected to our traveler and ran. You might ask why we ran, why we continue to flee, what it was about the divinity within them that frightened us, when others, like the Enten, were so beloved by us. What I saw within them, within that little boy, was terrifying. For a single moment, he was consumed by anger, by hate that knew no end. In the smallest of them lay a rage more massive than the sum of any other species. They, so meager, so dull, and petty, have fully inherited the divine wrath of the universe, with none of the wisdom or vision that gave it context. And yet, each night, as I lay alone in the dark, I find I no longer fear the humans. Again and again, I find myself returning to the same question, forbearing the burden of the universe's own hatred. Are they martyrs or monsters? End of story. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. I just want to quickly thank the T5 channel members and patrons: Alithia, Barky, Beautycure, Meridian 117, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholch, Albard and Gusta, Savage Patch Papa,